Hello, everyone. We are introducing our new advisory program for sellers and for starters. This means that if you are a collector and you always dreamed with starting your own business, your own store, or your own virtual store, you are in the correct place. I am Nazareno. I am Legends Worldwide founder and manager with no experience or background in selling any kind of stuff whatsoever. I started Legends Worldwide, an international selling company legally registered in Argentina, but shipping from 12 countries worldwide. So I wanted to share with you many knowledge that I acquired thanks to trying to create this project and trying to construct, to create and build something different to the idea and the whole concept of selling shirts as a dream. Because that dream, like dreams, is normally very short. Is very common for me as a global supplier of bundles for resellers for over 3 years now to find collectors and sellers trying to start a business by investing maybe 600 euros and getting 7, 8, or 10 kits. Shirts, I always mean kits, I always mean shirts or jersey when I say kits. So they normally try to create a selling project by small bundles, and we are used to detect some problems that make people lose their hope in the idea of starting a project. And why is that? If, for example, you come from Europe and you have the chance and the investment capacity to start and build something new, right? But even in that way, being able to sell and build trust amongst collectors, which is a particularly hard niche to work in for many reasons that we will review during this masterclass and following masterclasses, if you want to put that name on them, or conferences, is much more than choosing stock and offering it for collectors. Because probably if you are a collector already, you might have experienced selling as a collector. You have some things in your collection that you wanna get rid of, and that's super natural. Then price drops a lot, and many people might find an opportunity in that kind of selling because your price is lower than the average market price. The condition as coming from a collection might be pretty cool, and they take 5, 7, 10, or even 15 kits from your collection, and then you might get that feeling that, okay, there is something to work in here, and this can improve, and then I can build a business. But actually, there are so many things behind a real business that are far from the whole concept of a collector selling his own stuff as a private operation. Okay, so we feel passionate about helping in that sense. And from which place we feel entitled to do that? Well, again, without any background, over the last 3 years, I built an international business shipping from 12 countries and operating in places that are very remote, like Japan, Indonesia, thanks to a network of agents. That doesn't mean that it's the only way to create a business, and all my advisory regarding how to make it work might not be intended for you to create something similar to the things that we created, but it is more intended to help you go through the regular path that normal people usually create projects in. Okay, so if you are thinking about starting selling on eBay and you feel that only with eBay you can make it happen, or if maybe you created an Instagram website but you don't know how to make it work in different platforms, so to have different channels for selling, all those scenarios will help you. We can help you through them. Okay, even if you are thinking about opening a physical store, a shop to a street, we can help there too. Because all the things that we gone through by creating this are things that many sellers struggle to make work and to get over them. So it's very important for all of us to gather and try to help others. I really think that that's an important step for people to not feel isolated, because selling can make you feel isolated when international selling is happening. Okay, so let's check a little our notebook. Um, what we see many problems about selling, and one of the main ones is thinking about the investment as making you a business. It really doesn't matter if you have a logo for your brand, a badge. It really doesn't matter if you have a phrase below that is catchy. It really doesn't matter if you think I will only sell uh, shirts from 2000 years. It really doesn't matter if you already sold some stuff on eBay. Actually, international selling of vintage football kits is all about quality, but it's all about a quality that you can't manufacture, because of course that would imply making fake kits. So you work with second-hand articles, but our mind is super set to think about selling new items in producing, because all we learn is more close to that and not to second-hand articles. So we will try to deal with many of the issues related to selling, delivering, and creating step-by-step protocols for you to be able to properly show your process to others, to build trust, because that's the way in which people, when you don't have a name on your own to sell, will give you the name you deserve. If you show transparency and if you show the process behind your decisions, people will trust and you will step by step create your own name in this world. So the idea is to show you how you can do that through assistance for collectors and through multiple features related to selling of authentic vintage, mainly football shirts. That is where our expertise is. Legends Worldwide sells also services. We sell the global search service that is unique in the world, and we also deploy a global network of agents that are able to help you in terms of logistics to receive, check, and ship for you kits from all over the world. There are impossible to count amounts of customers that already experienced that journey with our help, with our business. So we are standing there to talk about how to do stuff. Of course, there are a lot of ways to do business, to be able to sell. There are people that sell in the shadows and they make amazing networks, and that's pretty hard to replicate. There are no formulas to sell, but at the same time, there are some things that for sure will take you to failure, to failure. So if you want to succeed, we are trying to show you how that can be possible by taking some paths that might help you. In the best scenario, this can help you a lot to grow and to avoid some time waste in the middle that might take a lot of energy from you, a lot of money from you to make your business grow and to actually be able to dedicate your time to spend your time in the more fun in the more funny work that is probably uh, the hunting the kids. So searching, finding suppliers can be stressful too. But at the end of the day, what you want to do for sure is to have kids in your hand and to secure them for other collectors to ship properly. So that's the whole point of what we thought on building. Okay, so by going throughout this program, we will check what is the relevance. Several issues will be key for our program. What is the relevance of having a website? Do I need a website, or will an eBay store or any other platform store based? I am good with that and I might succeed. Is that enough with an eBay store? And once I get a website, I get my hands on my own website and even on my Instagram. How I know in which way to offer kits both on Instagram and on the website? Is that the same thing? I mean, that doubt is key for our program. You need an Instagram account and you have a website, but how should I list in each place? Is really the same? Well, it isn't. So that's one of the key issues on our program. Another one is selling channels. You have Facebook, you have platforms, you have even Reddit, and every social network has a lot of different rules and a lot of hooks that work there and will not work in a different social network. The same with the website. For you to be able to sell professionally, you have to sell by different channels and by different means. It's not the same on each channel. So it's like you are four different sellers at the same time. And what about marketing? How can I get followers? I mean, I started collecting uh, the last maybe a customer can say I started collecting for the last year, but yeah, I have some followers. But how can I grow? I mean, the crucial point of this collecting world is that football shirt sellers, vintage football shirt sellers, are everywhere, and there are companies that have an amazing brand positioning, like many you know from the UK and that are worldwide known. They are like the Coca-Cola or football vintage kits selling. So how can I compete in that world? Well, you can for sure, and the key, the crucial thing that we will review during all our master classes is differentiating yourself and finding your own niche for your brand or virtual store or company or just your project if you are not like legally registered and it's just an attempt. All that information is super important for you to have a good journey in this amazing job that, despite being described as a dream, it can really be much more like a commitment, and you really need to get humble to learn how to do stuff. Okay, so we already talked about, first of all, brand. This is a word that appeared that probably you never thought about before. What is a brand? why I should show myself as a brand if collecting is such an informal world and market. Why a brand? We will talk about that in our classes. In second term, we have selling channels. So selling channels are mainly about promoting yourself and your articles, okay? But should I promote myself, my brand, or the articles for sale? For sale. So all that we will check this information as promoting. Okay, we will clear a lot of doubts that might arise to make a business grow. There is a key issue for many sellers that is pretty sensitive and is hard to solve and really ends up working in different manners, but there are some advices that might help you go through it, and that is the fear of everyone because of scams and so, and that's suppliers. Suppliers. If you're a collector, imagine yourself as a collector. You only have one supplier, that for sure doesn't make any sense. So why a seller should have only one supplier, that's for sure pretty hard. But can happen also depending on the size of your project. But this is a key issue. This is a key issue, a very risky issue, and at that point, many projects die. So we will address how to how to overcome this phase, the phase in which, yeah, you got some kits, yeah, you got a good profit margin, but that doesn't make you an established selling store. And one of the key points on surviving as a football shirt seller is suppliers. Finally, but not of less importance, not less relevant, is product. Each shirt, each shirt will have a way for you to show it. Okay, so the product is key for your business, and we could write here pictures because today all is visual. Even if you do have a store to a street, you will be forced and will be key for you to be very careful with pictures. But I should put them on the floor. I should make them hang. I should take them with a white background. How should I do this to be able to progress, to grow? Okay? So, this is mainly the key path of our advisory, okay? And we will go through many other items, of course, that might be key for you. We talked already about social network, suppliers, products. All this is how we will help you to get a better experience from your dream job. So if you decided to make the trip, you won't be alone anymore. And in fact, if even after going through our master classes, you feel like needing a customized assistance for particular issues regarding your business, your special business, your country, your niche, because it's not the same. Maybe if you decided to sell 90s kits or more modern kits or only bundles, or what about wholesale? Okay, bundles. It's easy to sell bundles. Okay, well, we have been selling bundles for the last 3 years since we started in parallel to our premium sales of top rarity kits. So there is a never-ending world to talk about and to help you grow. My name is Nazareno. Again, what I can tell you about my background is that I come from the scientific community. I almost ended my PhD in ecology population and conservation biology, but I quit it at the end of the thesis. And I have been able to present my work back in 2018 in an international congress in USA. So I have a little experience on talking in front of a camera. I will do my best for you to enjoy this and to have a good trip. I hope this helps you and feel free to send any question for us to check.